Obi-Wan movie. I wanted to see it. They had a perfect segue that they made at the end of Solo with Darth Maul showing up. Darth Maul and Obi-Wan are, they are enemies. And even though we know how the story between them ends, you saw that even in the final seconds of Maul's life, that he always respected Obi-Wan as an enemy, and I'd love to see them have one more showdown on Tatooine in a movie form with Ewan McGregor and the original guy to play Darth Maul to come back and actually do it, because he was at a convention.
Was he Darth Maul in the Solo movie? I would assume he was.
Maybe for the motion capture, but the voice definitely, I don't believe that
I don't
was
think
him.
he ever did the voice.
Well, he only spoke like one line.
Yeah, but I don't think it was him doing it.
No, I know. No, it wasn't. It wasn't, but I would love to see him, act it out one more time. And I'd love to see the voice from Rebels and Clone Wars come back and do a thing. I want to see that battle, Ewan McGregor versus Darth Maul.
Get over it.
Obi-Wan, Darth Maul, one last time.
I want to see Harold Ramis as a Ghostbuster. It's not going to happen.
Right. Well, he's dead.
He's a ghost now.
Right. He is a ghost. The problem is that Ewan McGregor he's not a Force ghost yet, and neither is It's just so much going on. You could do so much with it. And this is the movie that Star Wars fans... This is the Star Wars story that everyone wanted.
Yeah.
They didn't want Solo. They wanted the Obi-Wan movie. This is something that they made petitions for online. Ewan McGregor said he'd love to do it. J.J. Abrams invited Ewan McGregor to go to The Force Awakens to voice a line for it as Obi-Wan. He's uncredited as Obi-Wan Kenobi with Alec Guinness in The Force Awakens.
Yeah, during when Rey sees the lightsaber for the first time. I would assume.
Which is cool. So obviously, someone is okay with that happening. Why did they not make it? Why did they not capitalize on that? Star Wars fans would have went ballistic.
Because... unfortunately, it's not about the fans anymore, It is about...
Which is disgusting. Kathleen Kennedy was Steven Spielberg's whipping person, and it's just terrible that they're like, all right, you worked with Steven Spielberg, so you're going to head Lucasfilm. It's like, no. How about, why didn't you get someone that George Lucas worked with? Someone that, maybe even George Lucas himself.
I'm sure she
produced Indiana Jones.
And I'm pretty sure she did.
But what did she... Yeah, but she was only... No, she wasn't.
I mean, she's a decent producer. She produced all those Spielberg movies from, I believe, E.T. on.
Yeah,
so
that's like saying if you play on the same team as Wayne Gretzky, he contributed a lot. No, you play with the greatest of all time. If you produce with Steven Spielberg, how much work did you do? Did you tell Steven Spielberg, you can't do that, Steve? You can't do that. I'm the producer. No. You ain't getting that guy's way. Steven Spielberg says, I'm doing something. He's doing it. Kathleen Kennedy did not call any shots.
I don't know how many shots she's calling for these,
She's the head of the whole thing.
Yeah.
She's in charge of the whole thing, so she's picking the direction.
But I think if you had a director that had, a backbone or had some, relevant ideas...
Did, and they fired them.
I don't know how good their ideas were.
They fired them from Solo.
I bet you that movie would have stunk regardless. I think, I would have liked to have seen just J.J. Abrams kind of be the guy in charge. If anybody should have directed the trilogy, it should have just been him doing all three movies. I don't know why he got this other guy, Rian Johnson.
If there was any person that you should have said, hey, this person is going to lead the whole thing, it should have been the guy that made it, the guy who has a plan.
Oh, yeah, that guy?
Not directing the movies. Let him write the story. Because you saw it with the original trilogy. He wrote that out. He wrote the original trilogy.
He didn't write all of it.
No.
He wrote a basis of the ideas, but he didn't write the script for Empire. That's why it's so good.
No, but he created the story.
Of course, I'm not going to take away George Lucas's.
He said this is where it's got to go, this is where it's got to start, and this is where it's got to end.
Yeah, but I mean, based off his track record, he had 3 good movies out of. He made the Indiana Jones movies. I guess are really good.
Oh, I thought you meant just Star Wars. What I'm saying is that if you just told George Lucas, hey, George, you basically founded this whole thing. Where would you see it going from here on?
Well, they did that. They tried to get his ideas. He had the ideas for the next trilogy. I just don't think they wanted to go in that direction.
No, they wanted to go. Which
is stupid. Why? Why would you not?
Well, he sold the rights to it, so he wanted money. So, I mean, he could have, in theory, made those movies if he wanted to, but I think he realized he doesn't want to do big-budget movies anymore.
The thing is like, you have the guy who, he started all these things. It was the mind behind them. He had countless books that, he licensed to other people and telling them, like, hey, this is the story, this is what I want you to write about, and he let other people write about it. You had all this, background stories. You had all these books that people loved. All you had to do was take the existing material and just go, all right, why don't we just pick our favorite stories, make movies out of them, regardless of what they're about. Thrawn is a great character. They had a great comic book strip about Thrawn. They had an awesome book, or a couple books about Thrawn. And what did they do? They threw it all out and they said, all right, well, let's start from scratch. And then they redid it in the way they liked it. The way they liked it made Thrawn kind of look stupid.
I'm going to say this right now. I think, this might be blasphemous, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I think Star Wars is the most overrated film series of all time.
Wow.
I don't even think it's close. I think, okay, the first 3 movies are really good. Amazing. 3 of my favorite movies. The prequels stink. I'm not a fan of these other ones. I think they're just really overhyped.
Well, the big thing about...
There's so many better film series. The Rocky series is such a better series than Star Wars.
The thing about Star Wars...
Toy Story.
Hold on, but the thing about Star Wars isn't that every movie's great. It's that... Have you ever read Star Wars books?
Nah.
Have you ever read the comic books?
Nah.
Read some of the books.
Where the prequels lack, that's where they picked it up. They had the Death Troopers book, which you read, which was...
I'm not talking about the books or anything. I'm just talking about the movies.
Right, but
it's the most overrated film series of all time.
What I'm saying is that it's overrated because they tried to do too much. George Lucas, during he did the prequel series, wanted to be a visionary, wanted to be different. CGI, this, that, all these things. I want to be the director. I want to run the whole thing. And he tanked it, basically. He tanked it.
Well, he had nobody to kind of say, this is a bad idea, George. He had a bunch of yes men, which is the problem. You need that person. You need, that guy to just say, George, Jar Jar, or, Jake Lloyd, this is not a good choice. But I want to talk quickly about a movie that I watched this week, and to me, this was one of the worst / most fun I had at a movie. It was Jurassic...
so bad it's good?
Yeah, it was Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Oh, no!
Now, if you've seen the trailers for this movie, you've seen the whole movie. The actors in this movie, they're not bad actors. I'm going to do some spoilers, too, because whatever. The movie...
That's amazing.
You're not missing anything out. Basically, the movie has some really cool premises to it that are so briefly touched upon, and it focuses on the wrong things. I think if they focused on, dinosaurs... becoming extinct again and having to save them. I thought that was a really cool idea. But that's only like 30, 40 minutes of the movie. The last, 75% of the film is a horror movie taking place in a mansion. They kind of kidnapped all the dinosaurs. They took them to a mansion, and they're selling them to terrorists. And like mafia people. It's the most bogus thing I've ever heard. There's literally one scene where they're bidding on dinosaurs, and there's this one foreign guy. He's like, $20 million for the Stegosaurus. I was like, is this real life? Is this a real movie that you, Kathleen Kennedy, did produce this one as well? It was just pure
disgusting. This woman, everything she touches is awful. Continue.
I don't know about that. She produced E.T., the Extraterrestrial, and Schindler's List. Those are pretty good movies.
I'm talking about recently, bro.
Yeah.
Last 15 years, name a good movie she's produced. Go.
Any of the Spielberg movies he's directed. He's had some good ones. What else happened in this movie? There's one scene in this film where Blue, the Velociraptor that you loved in the first Jurassic World, which again is another terribly overrated movie, there's a gas leak that takes place, and Blue smells the gas leak, looks at the camera. I could have sworn he winked at the screen, realized that it was leaking gasoline, ran out of the room, jumped as the explosion was behind him, a la Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. It was one of the most hysterical scenes. I don't know if you guys remember in Independence Day, the scene where the dog avoids the explosion.
Yes.
It was literally that.
That's incredible.
Oh, my God.
Except the dinosaur knew that the explosion was going to come. It was laughable, very laughable. And one thing I wish they kind of touched upon, they talk about John Hammond's partner. So he had a partner that helped him create these dinosaurs, and they briefly talk about it for maybe 30, 40 seconds, talking about the origins of Jurassic Park and, the creations of these, DNA tests. And I wish that was the whole movie. I wish it was just two old guys in a laboratory creating monsters, creating the park, setting it up, having tests done. And I think that would have just been such a more interesting movie.
No, but you know what it's got to be?
It's Chris Pratt. I'm getting sick of him, and I love Chris Pratt. But he's the same thing in every movie. He's tries to be this action hunk. His characters have no flaws to them. At least, this one, whatever his name is in the film, Owen. He's just like a flawless character. He's like, I ride motorcycles with velociraptors. He literally says that in the movie. He brags about him riding velociraptors. Riding a motorcycle with velociraptors in the previous movie.
Painful.
Yeah, riding velociraptors. It was very cringeworthy. It was laughable. It was, embarrassing at times. I couldn't recommend not seeing this movie anymore. Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Unless you want to laugh. If you want to experience, just an awful movie, I think you would enjoy this.
And you're saying Kathleen Kennedy produced this movie?
She produced this. But again, what does she do? She didn't write it or direct it. The person who takes all blame for this is Colin Trevorrow, who didn't direct the movie. He wrote the movie. The guy who directed the movie, I thought, had some very pleasing visuals. I kind of liked his direction. Even from the opening scene, they have this really cool underwater shot of like a gate opening, and it's set up so brilliantly. But then the actors talk, and they're cracking jokes.
And then they talk.
So I don't know if you remember.
Oh my God!
Ew.
The first scene in the original Jurassic Park, they setting the park up, and it's this really serious scene. There's no comedy involved. And the first scene in this movie, visually, it's beautiful, just as beautiful as any scene in any movie in the last 10 years. And then he's getting. I'm going to explain the scene. A guy tries to escape from the T-Rex. He runs on the helicopter.
That goes well.
He sees the helicopter. He sees the people on the helicopter kind of motioning to him like, look behind you, look, and then the guy's kind of just standing there saying, what? I can't hear you, because there's loud noise going on, it's raining, the helicopter's going, I don't know what you're saying, what? They're literally like pointing like, T-Rex behind you. And then he realizes the T-Rex is there. He runs away from it. He jumps on the ladder on the helicopter, and he gets away. Like, the T-Rex kind of holds on the helicopter. He kind of holds onto the ladder that's attached to the helicopter, and they're, like, pulling away. And the guy in the helicopter's like, we got to cut the ladder. And the guy's, crawling away. Eventually, the T-Rex lets go. And the guy's like, whoo! Thank God I got away. Woo! Nothing bad's going to happen now. Obviously, that sets up that big water dinosaur coming up and biting everything. And I think he ate the whole helicopter, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice.
But it was so predictable. Like, okay, he got away. That's how they're going to open the movie. No, here comes the other dinosaur to eat it. It was a cliche. It was like Sharknado bad at times.
I'm going to bring something up. I'm going to bring it.
Well, Sharknado is just
at least Sharknado knows what's
Let's get off of terrible movies. Here's one that's a sequel to a movie that was pretty good. Spider-Man: Homecoming 2 has officially got a title. And I guess this will be what we end on. Yeah. They have a full title. It's called Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Again, I don't like the title Homecoming or Far From Home, but whatever. The movie was really good, the first one.
Yeah, well, apparently this is going to be set in, like, Eastern Europe or something
Europe,
like that.
Which is cool, because you never really see superheroes for the most part.
How about Spider-Man?
Yeah, imagine Spider-Man
your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Call it that? Is that what you want it to be called, or is that?
No, that's what he is. He's like a Queens boy. Like, that's his thing. He's like hangs out in Queens and he helps people.
Yeah, but I think it's cool now he's branching out, and I think the visual of just him, flying or not flying, swinging in Europe is just something that's going to be very visually pleasing.
That's what I was trying to say, man.
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say it's cool that he's going other. Never mind.
Oh, I thought you were saying he should just stay in Queens.
No, it's cool that he's moving on.
No, it's the fact that he's such an established Queens icon. It's interesting to see him other places.
I'm just all jacked up from this Jurassic Park.
And of course,
thing.
The bad guy in this movie is going to be
Mysterio.
Jake Gyllenhaal, apparently.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, Mysterio. Yeah, we went over this like a month ago.
I thought that wasn't confirmed at that point.
Yeah, but
it's pretty much confirmed. And Michael Keaton will be returning as the Vulture,
which is awesome.
Awesome.
I wonder if he's going to do a quick cameo. If he'll actually have. an actual like a role in the movie.
I hope so. The more Keaton, the better. He's probably my favorite actor of all time. I love everything Michael Keaton has touched.
All right, well, that does it for us here on Nerdvana.
Yeah, we're going to head on out of here.